Hello, everybody. We are right. I'm Gregory.
And I'm Alan.
And I'm Yanni.
And today we're going to be talking about the midterm elections, our thoughts on them, and what's happening in Broward County. So, guys, what did you think of the results of the election so far? That have been called.
Well,
Obviously, there are still three that haven't
Right.
been.
So I'll say my first thought was, as it was echoed among a lot of conservatives, is that the polls were right. We expected that to lose the House. We expected to hold the Senate. I don't think anybody was expecting to actually gain any seats in the Senate, and I think that was pretty interesting. I think that was one surprising thing to take out of this. But as far as the standing, I think we're pretty much where we expected to be, and I think this is a pretty common cycle, for a president to start off with control, their party to have control over both the Senate and the House, to lose the House. However, do I think we're going to lose the Senate? Are we going to follow that pattern and lose the Senate? I'm not quite sure yet. Because like I said, I think gaining seats in the Senate, I think is actually is a very good sign. And I think we actually may not need to fear losing the Senate in the same way that Barack Obama did back in 2012.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I definitely agree. So, obviously we lost the House, but having the presidency, the Supreme Court, the Senate, that's still really incredible that we have control of all of that. Now, Paul Ryan losing his spot as Speaker of the House, that could be quite a few things interpreted differently, but, overall, even here in Ohio, Sherrod Brown winning the Jim Renee seat, that's basically the only big, turn that we had. Mike DeWine won. A lot of, the blue wave really wasn't showing anything close to success in Ohio.
Yeah.
And not even over the, over the country,
Yeah,
discussed, what is the blue wave?
Yeah.
Is it really, is it really a thing?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm pretty sure Ohio swept the state level for Republicans, which is an amazing thing. And then really fast before I mentioned the blue wave, you mentioned the judicial branch. With this many senators, and now the Republicans have control of the Senate still. If any of the other judges decide they want to retire here soon, we're gonna get another conservative-leaning judge in the system.
Right.
That's gonna be
Right.
great.
If Justice Ginsburg falls enough, then we might go in, pretty quick.
Yeah. And then so talk about the blue wave. It obviously didn't show up in the Senate. The House, you could argue, yeah, they did take. I think it says the website we're using says 32 seats. Yeah, that is big, but it's more important, in my opinion, that we were able to hold the Senate, take some seats in it. We gained two. This website says, and the blue wave. Yeah, it turned out in population size for voting, but when states like California have such a big population and they lean conservatively, or not conservatively, my apologies, and they lean majority left, yeah, you can't really say that it's a real blue wave.
Right, and I think what a lot of people aren't taking into account is the quote-unquote silent majority, right? So that's basically what I would interpret, what a lot of people interpret, is what helped Trump win, right? So now, it wasn't inevitable that the Democrats were going to win the House. It was high, the chances were high, but it wasn't, dead set 100%. With the Senate, it's a little different. I just think people overestimated, especially on the left, their chances of winning seats. They only won 26 seats in the House. Most studies kind of concur and say that with an unpopular president, which is definitely what I would say Trump is now.
Absolutely.
The House tends to lose at the midterm election 37 seats. The average is 30 of all presidents over the last. I don't remember what the exact study was, but 30 presidents or 30 seats on average at a midterm. We lost 26.
That's pretty good.
Great. That's great.
Right. And so here's the question, though. Do you think this means that Trump in 2020 will be threatened? Do you think that there's a chance Trump loses in 2020 and that the Democrats take control not only of the Senate but also of the White House?
That's a tough question. I really think it's gonna turn out kind of like the 2016 election. The media spent these last 2 years since he's been elected trying to throw Trump down, trying to throw him under the bus, and we saw from these midterms, the Americans aren't listening. The Americans know that either it's false, it's being made up. That's the same thing. Whatever. Trump is doing a good job, and the Americans are seeing that. These polls with their satisfaction rate for the president, those can go many different ways. They may not even be right. We don't know. And I think that the midterm elections is a better view on how Trump is doing over his popularity rating and stuff like that. So I think he'll be able to win in 2020 if the trend stays like this.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Also because the race, I mean, it hasn't started officially, but the race for the left to find a candidate in 2020 is definitely started up, and it's not it's really convoluted.
They have no powerhouses.
Well, I would even say that they have too many powerhouses. I would say that they have so many good candidates on the left that they can't find one that they really like. It's not like,
well, not good, but standout.
yeah,
candidates.
right. Good in there. If I was
Yeah.
a liberal, good for me, right? So, like with Obama in 2008, 2012, they had a really, really good young candidate who was intelligent, who was calm, composed.
Well, Hillary Clinton seemed like a good candidate in that election too.
Yeah,
We gotta
right.
remember.
But
That's true.
now, I mean,
Right.
you have Elizabeth Warren, who, even though she's really flawed, they love her.
Yeah.
You have
Biden.
you have
I've heard
you have,
Biden.
Yeah, you have Joe Biden. They're even calling for
Kamala
Beto.
Harris.
Beto O'Rourke, right? Kamala Harris. That's 4. Hillary might run again. That's 5. Bernie, 6. So it's, and Trump. We're pretty much aligned under Trump. So,
Absolutely, yeah.
I think even if we lost the House, Nancy Pelosi's not going to do so much harm as to where we're going to lose Trump. But
That brings up an interesting point. I don't know if you heard. Jeff Flake, actually, senator from Arizona, said that he would not put out of question running against Trump in 2020. And so I think that's where the conversation really comes full circle about, yes, we have the Senate, but we have a Republican Senate. Does that mean Donald Trump wins the White House? Because if our Republican Senate can't get behind Trump, does us voting Republicans into the Senate mean that Trump gets voted into the White House? It seems like those are two different paths now. There's a difference between Trump's brand Trump's brand of conservatism and what a lot of other people see as conservatism.
Absolutely, that is correct. I mean, you need to just look at don't even have to go past his tariffs that he enacted. Those aren't very conservative, and I mean, I'm sure almost every senator that was elected for the GOP is against them.
right.
Now, that is a good point. Are these senators that are elected right now, are they going to throw their support behind Trump? That is something that we have to wonder. That is
Right.
something that we have to question. It will be kind of tough for him to win if he can't get the support of these senators, but that's 2 years down the line. He has 2 years to work with these guys to try and do everything he can to get on their good side. I don't think it will be a problem as of yet, but we never know.
Right, and Trump by nature isn't much of a conservative. I would say, like, running under the Republican ticket and claiming to be a Republican, that's all good, but he's not a hard-nosed conservative as some other candidates that we've had. Like in 2016, notably, Ted Cruz, I'd say, is much more conservative. Marco
absolutely.
Rubio, much more conservative. Mike Huckabee, one of the older candidates, was super conservative. So in terms of support, I definitely voted the Republican ticket in the midterms now, like a week ago, but I wouldn't necessarily always say that I'm a Republican, right? I'm conservative, but in terms of being a Republican, it's based on a lot of things to me. And when a party can't align under a candidate, it's really questionable. But being optimistic, we hope that in the next 2 years, that's something that we can do. We can align under Trump and hopefully have him win again.
Absolutely. Yeah, so now I think we should move on to what's going on in Broward County.
Right.
Because what are your thoughts on this? What is going on here? It's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, Broward County. Yanni, you wanna?
Okay, so what's happening in Broward County is there was a super tight race, super close, and so neither side is willing to concede. The Republicans did win that, but the Democrats do want recounts. What's happening is they decided to get Brenda Snipes. She's the one in charge of the recount right now. She has been caught in the past getting in trouble for breaking rules, and she multiple times for not listening to rules about recounts and votes like that. Now, the big thing going on right now, the big thing that everyone's pissed about is, I'm going to read a tweet from Marco Rubio here. Want more lawlessness? Broward County elections opened 208 provisional ballots without canvassing board's approval as required by law. After admitting error, submitted them to board, which found at least 12 are invalid. Guess what? They are going to count all 208 of them anyway. So, explaining that, So they looked at these votes without the canvassing board's approval, which you need by law. You need this by law, and they were found that 12 of them were open beforehand, and they're still going to count them all. Once again, Brenda Snipes just getting in trouble with not following the rules, and the Democrats are okay with this. The Democrats are going for this, and it's a bit ridiculous. And so that's my take on it. I really think Brenda Snipes should be removed from in charge of this, and I really think that we should get a conservative who would actually follow the rules to be in charge of this recount.
Yeah. This is Bush v. Gore, but this is used, in my humble opinion, to favor the left, to favor their candidates.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because they didn't win, because they want to have a recount to prove that there's always somewhere that they can find these votes, and that somewhere we don't even know where that is, right? So they're just finding these votes out of nowhere. There's no legitimacy to them, and there's not even certainty of constitutionality if they can just uncover these votes.
Absolutely, yeah, agreed. Anything to add, Yanni?
I mean, no. I think what we're seeing is, the Republicans, the right, got a lot of flack after the 2016 election. We heard a lot about meddling in elections. This became a big issue. We heard a lot about the Russians meddling in the elections, stuff like that. Now what we are seeing is we're seeing the script flipped. We're seeing Democrats as the one meddling in the elections. We're seeing Democrats as the one saying, oh, this real shady, kind of foggy area around these ballots are okay. So the ones who supposedly were cracking down on it and making issues when there never was one with Donald Trump are now the ones who are saying, well, now we need to start taking everyone seriously. Now we need to start doing that because they lost. They lost, and now they're flipping the script and trying to do whatever benefits them most, And I think that speaks a lot about the Democrat Party. They're not consistent in their ideals. They're consistent in their drive to win. They are not consistent in or fair, and it's a double standard between what Republicans do and what Democrats do. It really, they're not showing equality on both sides. They're just trying to win, and they're doing whatever they can to get there.
Absolutely, I like the way you think. That's a good point. Okay, guys, so that's going to be the end of the podcast for this week. We're going to have another one going up next week. If you guys have any topics you want us to address or any questions you want us to answer, you can email us at weareright1@gmail.com. We'll try to get to any questions. Hopefully you do. Even if it's just to say, hey, you guys are doing a great job, okay? All right, that's going to be it from us, guys. Once again, I'm Greg.
I'm Alan.
I'm Yanni.
And we are right.